Welcome to the asylum, my darling. Before we get started with story time, I would like to tell you about our wonderful sponsor, Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. It's free. You can record and edit directly from your phone or computer. And the best part is that Anchor will distribute your podcast for you. You can even make money with no minimum listenership. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. And now on with the show. Welcome to the asylum, my darling. Today we're reading My Darling Nightmare by Audry Grant. This story features explicit accounts of horror and sexuality. If you enjoy the experience, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now lie back, close your eyes, and let the sounds of the thunderstorm consume you while I read you to sleep. Hot water streamed between my breasts and gently caressed my curves. Sighing, I savored the rushing flow as my fingers combed through my long, wet hair. One hand slid down and pushed deep between my legs. My darling Jessica would be here soon, I thought, fresh lust stimulating my fingers. Just her scent was enough to drive me crazy. Her beautiful lips would kiss down my flesh, teasing me to explosion with her talented tongue. She would gasp in my ear when I slid my fingers inside her, every time like it was the first time. Her legs parting eagerly, pulling me deeper. On the edge of orgasm, I pumped my fingers faster. The thought of her sensual moans against my ear quickened my pace. The loud chiming of the doorbell sounded above the roar of my shower. Startled by the chime, I paused. My eyes snapped open and my fingers slipped from inside myself. I smiled in anticipation, twisting off the shower. My darling Jessica was here. Tucking a fuzzy towel in place around my breasts, I ran down the hall to greet her. A female officer was standing on my steps, looking official. "I'm Officer Monroe," she spoke, her eyes on my towel. She motioned to her squad car, almost apologetic. "I need you to come with me, miss." "What? Why?" I didn't understand. Dimly I watched as her pink lips moved. She was speaking, her bright green eyes glinting in the muted sunlight. My eyes followed her hand as she tucked a strand of shiny blonde hair behind her ear. She looked at me expectantly. "Miss, please get dressed. We need you to identify the body." Then I was in her car, watching her hands grip the steering wheel as she drove us to the morgue. The body. Jessica's body. Something about a party and how they found her, cold in the morning. Just identify the body. Monroe kept repeating herself like I didn't understand. Blood everywhere. A large knife near the scene. "Officer Monroe, kindly took my hand when I stood dumbly by the car. She led me inside the brightly lit morgue. I noticed the smell first, rotting flesh, almost sticky. I felt my legs begin to tremble. An older man came forward and looked at us expectantly. They both seemed to be waiting for my signal, so I motioned impatiently for him to open the body bag. Surely this was all a mistake. Jessica wasn't even at a party last night. She would have told me. He grasped the zipper and moved it slowly down the body-shaped bag. His fingers moved so slowly that I felt the urge to scream. I gestured again. I caught Monroe watching my eyes, but she didn't look away. Rolling mine, I watched as the man pulled back the sides. A crunching, plastic noise. He revealed a young woman, barely recognizable for all the blood that streaked her lithe form. It was her. God. It was my Jessica. Her glorious raven hair was matted in bloody clumps to her forehead and neck. A deep gash sliced through her luminous blue eye, brutally shredding down to her red lips, now parted in a silent scream. Tears flowed liberally down my cheeks, and I heard myself wailing, as if from a distance. Someone grasped my arms, pulling me from the body. Vomit rose in my throat, and I choked on tears, retching on the shiny aluminum floor. Hands knotted in my hair, and I felt myself tearing out clumps. Blood streamed down my arms as I fell hard to my knees, howling. Someone shook my shoulders again, shaking me roughly. I heard voices calling out my name. That's what I remember. That was a year ago. The nurses will be back to check on me soon. They won't even tell me why they keep me here, but I'm on to them. It's some sort of test, keeping me away from my darling Jessica like this. They think that I don't know what they're up to, and I know they enjoy sticking me with their needles to make me think that I'm crazy, but they're the crazy ones. I hear them talking late at night. They say that some girl tried to kill herself after losing her lover. An officer was even attacked, and they say that she screams all the time. An otherworldly howl that terrifies even the most experienced nurses. I wonder what they say about me. Jessica misses me so much that she started sneaking in to see me at night when the nurses change shifts. She's so clever. She slips silently into my room and crawls under my covers, pressing her soft breasts against my back. She always smells like roses. As the moon shone gently through my gated window, I breathed in her luscious scent, twisting through the covers to take in her beauty. My hand skimmed her toned stomach, and I felt down to the white cotton panties she wore. Soft lips brushed my ear. Taking my hand in hers, she led mine down her length our fingers caressing her panties. I stroked the cotton, fingering the soft tuft of down between her legs. They parted from my hands. I found her dripping with desire. My tongue flicked gently in the flesh of her neck, and I nuzzled down to her breast, taking her supple nipple into my mouth. Cupping her breast with one hand, I sucked harder, savoring her groans as her fingers twisted in my hair. Wild to taste her, I kissed down her stomach, to her hips, beneath her legs, now throbbing. My tongue traveled, tasting every inch of her, savoring every second, so soft and wet. I pressed deeper, tasting her, pleasing her until she gasped. Her soft thighs tensed around my head, pressed hard into my ears. A sharp tug on my hair sent me sprawling to the padded floor. I screamed furiously and thrashed my arms. Jerking in spasm, I watched in fascination as they pulled a broken needle from my flesh. I'll kill them all, I decided, kicking and swinging wildly, determined to knock them down. Warm blood spattered my face in startling splashes. Voices yelled, doors slammed, hands seized me, forcefully restraining me on the floor. Male nurses carried Jessica away. She shrieked, her eyes wide. She looked so scared, terrified. "Let me go. Jessica, baby, it'll be okay," I screamed. "You're hurting her. You're hurting her." I thrashed mightily, watching in panicked desperation as they hauled my wailing beauty out the door. Rough hands pressed me to the floor, holding me in place. A second needle was inserted into my neck. Confusion left me blinking. Rotten flesh filled my nostrils. Sticky. A scream frozen on her lips. I closed my eyes and shook my head. Liquid eyes, overwhelmed with panic, looked pleadingly up into mine. Her white cotton panties were torn, defiled with gore, ripped from her beautiful body. A jagged knife sticking from her thigh, her panties hanging like a trophy, a blood-soaked trophy. Hands tangled in my hair, tugging my lips to her. I pressed my face against her creamy skin, now pallid and loose. I watched intently as a gash streaked savagely across her face. Flesh tore from her cheeks, and blood bubbled around her brow. The blade carved through her eye with a loud sucking pop. Her scent drove me into a frenzy. I nipped her ashen flesh until my lips kissed down between her legs, wet with desire for me. She moaned as my tongue dove deeper, her hands tangled in my hair, pulling me harder, kneading me inside her. Blood covered her soft, creamy hands. I pressed harder, overwhelmed by her desire. Finally, she gave out a beautiful scream. Her body shivered on the edge of explosion. Her thighs squeezed my head. Her body thrashed from my lips. She moaned, an unearthly moan. Rotting flesh filled my nostrils. Vomit rushed into my throat. Brimming with tears, her lifeless eyes sought mine. Positioning my body atop hers, I listened intently to her frenzied breathing as she drifted off to sleep. My face pressed against her cold, ashen stomach. The nurses planned to keep me here indefinitely, but every night I listen for my darling Jessica's sweet footsteps in the hall, and I watch as she comes to me with her naked breasts and white cotton panties. Then she slips silently into bed with me, pressing her soft nipples against my back, wrapping me in her arms